So I have been a big fan of the intensive model of therapy since Josiah was really little, and there is nothing quite like Swim Lab in the States because I looked. This is now our second time in Lanzarote, and also we have been to the Florida location as well. We first came to Swim Lab 2 years ago here in Lanzarote. It was several UK friends we had met at different intensives throughout the United States. They had been sharing about their daughter participating in this swimming intensive, and when they were posting photos and videos of her, physically she's very comparable to the skill level that Josiah is at, and she was posting videos of her daughter swimming laps, like up and down the pool laps. And I took one look at that and was like, I want that. I want that for him. So I grew up in a competitive swimming family. I started swimming year-round when I was either 8 or 9, and then I kept going throughout high school. And so swimming was a huge part of my life. And I remember my summers, like my mom would drop me off at the pool at noon and then pick me up at like 8 p.m. I'd eat like lunch and dinner at the pool, and I'd just play with my friends. It was a huge part of my social life as a kid. And so even if my kids don't swim competitively, I really want them to have the social benefit of being safe in the water and being able to swim with their friends. And so that was very important to me. And when Josiah was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, he was 6 months old. And so we knew we wanted to get him swimming as soon as possible. So we signed him up for local water babies classes, water kids. At one point we did a group lesson with typically developing kids, and it just wasn't what we needed. They didn't have the skill set to teach a child with cerebral palsy how to be safe in the water and then to actually how to swim. And so we tried private lessons at home in Oregon, and we'd make a little bit of progress, but it wasn't to the point where I felt like I could even turn my back on him for just a second in the water and have him not potentially drown. And so when I saw friends who were sharing their child with cerebral palsy making this tremendous progress in the pool, I said, we have to do this. And so we came to Swim Lab in Lanzarote 2 years ago, and within the first couple of days, Chris had Josiah being able to safely roll onto his back and be able to take breaths and then be able to roll back again. And I felt, as a parent, that was such a weight off my mind, that like if he fell in the pool somewhere, if he went in before I could get to him, that he could at least roll to his back and be safe in the water before someone had a chance to get to him and fish him out. And since then, we've just been able to build on those skills with both Crystal and then with Paul and Chris here in Lanzarote. Josiah has cerebral palsy, but he also has a fair amount of dystonia, and that really impacts his ability to float in the water and stay on top of the water. And so what we saw before we came to Swim Lab was a lot of instructors would get almost frustrated with him for not being able to stay in that floating position. And what we saw from both Chris and from Crystal was just a tremendous amount of patience as they taught him those skills and as they reinforced them. So what I love about Swim Lab International is that both sites do this. They have their kids who are participating in the Swim Lab program alongside typically developing kids who are also learning swimming skills. So here in the Lanzarote location, I see big batches of Spanish-speaking local kids coming in the afternoons, and they're diving in right alongside Josiah, and he's getting something out of watching them. I mean, he's developing like future goals and seeing where he wants to go to next with his swimming skills. And the Planet Swim location in North Florida, it's the same thing. It's a swimming club. That's where local kids are going to swim and being able to build on their skills with the team. And then also, the pool temperatures are really quite comparable, and the climates are pretty comparable too. So the outdoor pool at Planet Swim and in Lanzarote, they're both very similar with the deep space, which is so great because Josiah wants to touch the ground in the pool and push off of it, and that deep space prevents him from doing that. But then, if he needs a bit of a warmer temperature, the indoor pools that they have both here in Lanzarote and then also in Planet Swim, those provide a little bit of a space to warm up and soothe those muscles. So since I grew up being a year-round swimmer, dry land was like a huge part of our day before we got in the pool. And one of the things I've noticed about both locations is they really do truly have the right equipment to do like a typical kids dry land for swim team, but then they also have all of the other sorts of toys and benches and support systems and mats that help kids with disabilities engage in something very close to what their typical peers are doing in a swimming dry land environment. Yeah, so one of the other things that we've really loved about working with Swim Lab and going to both of their locations is that my younger child, Ezekiel, he's 5 now. And when we went to Florida last December, we were actually able to book swim lessons for him with one of the Planet Swim instructors. And he made a ton of progress too. Like, he was swimming laps at the end of his little week as well. And in Lanzarote, he's been able to jump in some of the sections of the pool here that are geared towards younger kids, and he's just had fun messing around over there and working on his swimming skills. And he's actually put kind of a lot together in the couple days that we've been here. So I love that I'm able to bring him to both locations and have him get something out of it as well, because so many times we're focused on his brother, and it gives him a chance to participate in something fun as well. The Swim Lab really makes all of it fun. They make their pool time super fun, which is so important for young kids. Like, I remember when I was swimming with my team, you know, we'd always look forward to the end when it was either like a fun race or going for diving sticks or that sort of thing. And they really make a point of having it not just be, okay, we're gonna go up and down and do these laps and over. They make it fun, and they incentivize both the pool and the dry land to reinforce all of the skills and all of the muscles that they're working. And Josiah, you know, Chris was able to tap into Josiah's obsession with pickleball, and he used that throughout his dryland sessions the last 2 weeks, and we've seen just amazing gains for Josiah with his gait, and I think it's a direct result of the pool and then the dryland work. Yeah, so I think Chris and Paul developed such a cool and unique program, and I think it's amazing that they've been able to train other therapists and bring them up to their level. And I absolutely feel like Crystal is at their level. She's been trained by them in Lanzarote, and she is just an excellent therapist. She really listened to us when we talked about what our goals were, that we had more social goals for Josiah's pool time. So she worked with him on playing like sharks and minnows and just other fun stuff to keep him going in the pool. So I think she's a really excellent therapist.